The big decision here becomes, do we go with the rest strategy or do we go with flexibility strategy? And honestly, I kind of see Emma Hayes going with the rest approach. I'm going out there a little bit with this, but I think it might happen. Welcome back to Busy Watching Women's Soccer. I'm not Bridie, and I got a really fun film study today. I did my Olympic roster prediction a couple weeks ago. There were 2 names I got wrong, and I really think it's because I didn't watch the film closely enough. And then there are 3 names where I either barely mentioned them, didn't mention them, and they look great, really deserve to be going. So this is an apology, the only way I know how, with film. The first player I owe an apology to is Emily Sonet, and you know what? You knew. Sonet is very much needed for the sake of amazing versatility. They need to take a backup defensive midfielder. The only real option right now is Sonet. I happen to believe Hayes will go with flexibility and take Sonet over Staub. Got the Dunn pick right. I think Sonet goes, Dunn also goes because they allow more flexibility elsewhere. Predicted roster almost entirely the same except with Sonet instead of Staub, Dunn instead of Morgan. What can I say? I don't know if I really had any complaints other than thinking that they were going to take 6 defenders and maybe I was considering Sonet more of a flex player. You know, looking at the film, like, yeah, she's a defender. I know I had said she wasn't flashy, but you don't really want to be flashy as a defender. I thought this was great, just really taking care of the ball, simple little things like that. Number 1 here takes care of it, figures out what she can do. This dribble, not the most beautiful dribble in the world, but there is absolutely nothing wrong with it, right? She just keeps that ball, refuses to go down, make sure it gets over to Rose Lavelle safely. And again, not flashy, but it's a pretty nice looking tackle. Almost sits on her in the process, but who cares? Kind of cool little clear. So she's got stuff up her sleeve for sure. Work rate is a huge thing. This was a big step up, and you can see that she's just not abandoning the press here. Continues with it, misses that tackle, but is not bothered by that and just keeps that same intensity, and you'll see the value in that because she's the last player there and clears that ball. So that is, 100% why you don't quit. Now, I didn't want to take Sonet. I don't know why. Like, I knew I didn't want her. I couldn't really explain it. And it's this play. I'm really sorry. I just mumbled over all of it. You're going to have to go back. But it's when she's sitting at the back of the offensive shape and she's trying to push the ball forward across the opposition's midfield and forward line. So right here, she tries to break more than one line, isn't successful, and that results in a turnover. And this was just a pattern that I saw a lot. It's not every time she does this, but it's close to every time. And it's a dangerous position to give the ball away in. And it's interesting because I started off saying, well, she's so safe as a defender. It makes me think that maybe this is a Gotham thing and she's not super comfortable doing this. But that was a very great touch from Croy. She's going to play a really fantastic pass here. And Gotham very quickly punished for that. This Spirit Gotham game, by the way, go watch it because it was absolutely fantastic. Has the majority of the U.S. women's national team on it. And if you want a taste of what the Olympics is going to be like, whew. But watch Sonet's head here. Incredibly athletic, what she's doing to sprint with her head turned. But what she's doing is she's checking this player over here. Are they covered? Am I safe to continue pursuing Croy because I know this is the only available passing option right now? And unfortunately, she has Tierney Davidson and Neely Martin both pull off in that direction. But you can just tell Sonet is a smart player and she knows what she's doing. So very happy she's made the roster. And Emily Sonet, I apologize. The next player I owe an apology to is Crystal Dunn. And I think I figured out what I was seeing here. I believe that every player has somewhere on the pitch where they do their best work. And this isn't like a position like, as a forward, as a 9. I mean an actual physical location on the pitch. This graphic is a very old school way of thinking about breaking up a pitch. But zone 18 to the right of the goal, I think Crystal Dunn works absolute magic in that zone. And if you can get her there and keep her there, she's going to make good stuff happen. It's just a good little tackle. I mean, this press is so good and with such intensity that, like, wins the ball, but I like being involved in the redistribution of it as well. This one, great hustle to keep the ball, and then, you know, I just like the hesitation. Just look and see what's there, you know? It's good to have an idea of what decision you want to make beforehand, but sometimes things change. Great, this is just gonna be a good little corner win. Like, she's just feisty, and she makes defenders do a lot of work over here. Another thing I like is she has a lot of different techniques for sending the ball back. So, you know, that was grounded, cut back. She's going to do some crosses as well. Sometimes it's just a tiny little chip like that. And it's good. You don't know really what to expect as a defender. She's got a lot of techniques available to her. So really able to make things happen. I do love the chip. I'm very, very partial to the chip. This one's a goal. Good angle on it. I'm still not fully convinced. I said the same thing on the last video with the last Dunn goal. You know, I feel like she's getting a little bit lucky with these trickling in, but that being said, nobody scores by accident. Nobody. Outside of zone 18, she doesn't look as good. That cross wasn't it, and then this turn is just, you know, like a little ball kind of looks like it gets stuck. Defensively, I think she looks good. I'm not saying that she can't play defense. I'm just saying on offense, let's keep her in zone 18. Defensively, that was a very nice pickup. Got it clear. So, Crystal Dunn, I apologize. I had not watched enough film, and I don't think I understood the game fully. One thing I didn't really cover in my roster prediction video was alternates. There's 4 alternates going, 3 of which are field players. And I really owe an apology to Lynn Williams. I may or may not have created a thumbnail using an image of Lynn and edited it to make it look like she was missing the bus to the Olympics and all her teammates were laughing at her. Sometimes you think about what you've done, and that was perhaps one of those moments. That being said, I do stand by what I said. I said, very transitional player, not in love with her first touch. She's classic NWSL, right? She doesn't have the goal scoring record for anything. She is Miss NWSL. But she came back from injury. She's had 1 game back so far, and like, look at this. Transitional play, but like, maybe the best transitional player? I don't know. Like, she forces stuff to happen, and Gotham just looked threatening. Like, this is the 82nd minute, and they're still going for it. If Rose isn't fouled there, I think that's in on goal, and Lynn has a nice break there. Now, Lynn, we're defending the throw here. That's Lynn. I also want you to keep an eye on Sheehan, and specifically the space that she's in and how she leaves it. And this is where I start to have issues when things are not transitional. It's a little bit choppy. I just think there's a much better option here. So what Lynn does is she takes her first touch, and with her first touch, she sends the ball to herself. She's trying to set herself up with that first touch. But something you can also do with your first touch is set your teammates up. But often to do that, you need to kind of not really think about where they are now and think about the space in between everything else instead. So what Lynn does here, takes that first touch, moves it into the space that she sees there for herself, but I think she really missed the space that Sheehan left open, right? So Sheehan moves up, space is open, Rose moves into that space. And if Lynn had just right here on her first touch, right there, if that goes there instead of here, Rose has a one-time left-footed shot that's a goal. So it's little things like that where I would just like to see her work on some of those elements of her game. Again, it's hard. Like, you have to have a lot of faith to push a ball into space, not knowing that someone's there. But it's very effective when it works. Am I saying that she can't play like 1-2 touch football? No, absolutely not. She's pretty good at it. But both of these clips, things are moving fairly fast, and I just think Lynn plays her best football when the game is moving really fast. Now, I am not the first person to say this. This was brought up on Attacking Third, but they made the point that Lynn is a really, really, really killer alternate because of her insane work rate, the insane pressure that she applies. Like, having to go up against that in training every single day, like, it is really going to push you. And I will add to that conversation by saying one area it's really going to help is set pieces. This is a very important spot on the set piece. She is marking the far post, so Gotham very much trusts her. And I know it's the 94th minute, but you can see she doesn't step up. They clearly want her to hold in that position. So Gotham has a lot of trust in Lynn's ability on these set pieces, on these clearances. And there you go. You can see why. This one I loved. I absolutely loved. And again, same thing. It's that far post. It's a very important position, but just look how she tracks this and just hops behind Berger to let her take that lane. Ooh, it is so smart, so smooth. So, Lynn Williams, I apologize. Next up on my list of cool humans is Hal Hershfeld. She's been an absolute treat to watch of a Spirit. Really glad that she's made this team. She just gets stuff done in the midfield. She makes tackles. She gets to loose balls. Is it always pretty? No. I mean, it's choppy a lot of the time. But if there's a running theme for today's video, it's like, I don't care how stuff gets done. I care about the result. And it's true, right? You go away to the Olympics, people are going to remember what happened. They're not going to remember all the specifics of every game. I just think she looks really, really good in the midfield. This one was a set piece where I think she's supposed to kind of like flick this on somewhere in the middle. Obviously, it doesn't go well, but look at the work rate. Look at the hustle to win that back and shut it down. She's also very comfortable kind of hanging out in the space behind someone that she's marking and then just popping in. Really good press there. It's a nice ability. She's fast, so she can close that space. She's not too worried about it at all. And she just, I mean, look at the pursuit on this press. And she's like the first domino, right? Like, if you go in with that much intensity, things are going to happen. But I got to bring it back because just look how hyped she is. Oh, what a teammate, right? You just want that player on your team. Like, she's just so excited for her team. Here she's marking rows, and this is a little bit of what I was talking about. Like, she's pretty comfortable keeping that distance, but this time it burns her. She's lucky. Lucky she had a defender there to help her. This time she does have a little bit, well, no, she's on Shaw. She's on Shaw tight. What happens is there. Really weird play. I'm going to go back and do that one again. It is so brutal. So she's on Shaw really nicely, has this marked really tight, and then just there, look, she's turning, looking over here, and it's almost like she just stops for a minute. I think she was asking for help with one of these loose players, and I think Hershfeld was checking in to say, okay, what should I be doing? But this is a brutal sport. This is a brutal sport, and that half a second is enough for Shaw to get ahead of her. It's super frustrating. So is Hershfeld the most like perfect player? No. I think there's a couple small things to work on, but she just looks good. I'm trying not to say reliable because it's exactly what I said with Sonet, but it's that same sort of feeling of like, man, this player is just going to bust their lungs every single game. It doesn't matter if you're down 3-0. Like, she's going to work, and you, trust me, you want that person on your team. Okay, I say possibly the most exciting alternate here for last, and is another one where you knew. I would not be surprised to see Croy Bethune as an alternate. And, you know, if anything, it's kind of disappointing she's going as an alternate and we're not going to get to see more of her. So let's start off defensively. I think she looks fine defensively. This is a press, so I mean, it's kind of the most defensive work you might expect a forward to do, but that is a pretty nice win. This is much lower on the pitch, and you can see she's, Sar is a little bit higher up than her. She's not like the furthest up player, but she just tracks back very nicely, very naturally, very aware of what space is open, and then sees that, dips in there. Really good player. Now, where she's going to make her money, though, is her footwork. She just has an arsenal of turns, and when I say an arsenal, I mean like literally like a military-grade arsenal. She has so many different turns. Just fantastic footwork, and I really love her ability to play off the turn. You know, she's really capable of going into a dribble, going into a pass. This one is fantastic where she has a little hesitation, gets across there, creates a pass. Like, it's wildly good. This one is stellar. I have to go back and do that again. And, you know, the narrative with Croy Bethune should be, this might be the smartest player on the pitch at any given moment. What I love about Croy is she plays the game in 3 dimensions, right? Everybody else is looking at pass here, pass here. She just doesn't see the game like that. She's a mental map of absolutely everything, and that little map is constantly being updated with all the players' movements. So look at this. She's going to peel off her run, go in a different direction, completely opens up the space. She knows what she is doing. I'm telling you, she's just so freaking good. And this one here, I love this. I mean, look at the head turn. If that's not Naomi Girma there defending that, I think that ball has a really good shot. It's just wild, the kind of thing she's doing. She has such killer vision. And that's what gets me, is just they generate so many chances either directly off of her pass or 1 or 2 touches after her pass. This is just fantastic running into space, and this is what I mean about playing in 3 dimensions. She just understands that, you know, a little bit of chippy technique there is going to wrap that around. And she can put it all together. She can put it all together and make it happen. And look at the time, right? Coach is friggin' hyped because there's no time left. And may have just tied this game, but look at this guy. This guy's hyped too. And that's what gets me. You cannot watch Croy Bethune and not look like it's just, this is the only bad play I found through like 4 or 5 games. That's it. It's not that bad. I'll let you watch it one more time because it's not that bad. I know what she thinks she's doing. She thinks she's stepping up. It is what it is. So, I mean, Croy Bethune, talented player. Can't wait to watch more of her. Rookie of the Year, 100%. MVP, I don't know. It's a tough one. Maybe. So, starting to think about the Olympics and, you know, what that might look like. Well, the good news is I think a lot of these players are looking very on form. You know, they're looking really, really good right now and just at the top of their game. The one concern I have is I think we've seen the U.S. women's national team struggle to close out games. We saw that against Canada, as she believes, saw it against Canada in the Gold Cup. And then Gotham had a game a couple of weeks ago where they had the same issue. Was it Gotham? It was either Gotham or Spirit. It was one of the two of them. And it made me think, like, is this more of a pervasive issue? So I feel very good about getting out of the group stage. I really think the ability to close out games could be somewhat concerning after that. But, you know, momentum is everything. Confidence is everything. So what's on tape right now looks really, really good. I feel very good about what's on tape. Thank you for checking this one out, and I'll see you around for next one.